If I was the King of New Zealand, dictator of New Zealand, it'd be so good. The perfect world, according to me. What would I do? This is what I'll do. I'll rebuild the entire regulatory regime on housing, and the result would be, I can guarantee to you, you'll be buying a nice little home for anywhere between $150,000 and $250,000. No government subsidies required. Just strip out the crony capitalism and rebuild the regulatory regime, and allow people once again to build houses at fair cost on the outskirts of their city. I've looked at this issue for a long time. That's one of the things I'll do. The other thing that I would do is dramatically reduce the size of the welfare state, and that basically means going to war against retired people, because that's where almost the greatest bulk of our, by far the greatest bulk of our money that we spend on welfare actually goes to retired people. Now that doesn't mean, leaving retired people to starve on the street. Of course I'm not into that. But what it does mean is that the pension is gone. If you're 65 and you can still take care of yourself with a part-time job, then you'll be expected to do that. And you'll keep working. And if you have huge health costs that need to be taken care of, I'll also expect you to, I'll also make you pay for that as well, possibly through a reversed mortgage. When you would get a pension, or an effective pension, is when you're so old that you cannot reasonably work at all, and because I don't need to incentivize you to get you back into the workplace because you're never going to go there again, then okay, I might give you the dole and then throw on another $50, $60, $70 to make it comfortable for you. Have a bit more fun rather than just scraping by, because that otherwise is silly. Now all that would lead to a massive reduction in welfare costs. It sounds mean, sounds nasty, no it isn't. Because who gets the benefit from that? I'll tell you who gets the benefit. It's young people trying to create a family, which are the true poverty class in New Zealand. And they're also the most, in any country, any Western country at the moment. And they are by far the most important class, because they're the people bringing in the next generation. We have this instinctive desire to keep giving more and more money to old people because of the way they move around in such a decrepit state. They look like they're in so much need. But a lot of them are millionaires. And we just hand the money hand over fist. I mean, no. Pensions should be based on need, not age. There you go, there's another one. Just like it shouldn't be based on ethnicity, and it should be based on age. So I'll be a real bastard to old people, okay, and I'll liquidate their kids' inheritance by forcing them to live off reverse mortgages before I give them their pensions and all that sort of thing. But it'll be a huge boost for people who truly need it, and it's fair. It's actually the right thing to do. It's in a country where too many parents with young families are struggling. It's the right thing to do. Why don't we work like that today in our democracy? Because grey power is huge. They vote, they get out and vote, and there's a lot of them, and they're growing. That's really the only reason why we are being financially gang raped by old people. I mean, naturally, it's not because they're assholes, it's because naturally they vote in their self-interest, like everyone does, and they are a very powerful army. They're a big, big army. They vote twice as often as young people, so there you have it. What else would I do? I would also install the policy, and this is the one to spook everyone, but I don't care. Dictator of New Zealand, this is what I'll do. People who are not fit to have children by any reasonable measure, such as people who are violent, people who are off their nut, have major psychological problems and all that sort of thing, alcohol junkies, or injecting granola into their bloodstream or whatever, people who are basically off their face. I would look at creating rules to say, look, while you're in that state, sorry, you're not having kids, because we all have to take care of those kids. We all have to deal with those kids as a society, and you can't just have this current situation where we let anyone in any state of body, mind, or life situation have as many kids as they want, and wherever they screw up, the government comes in with its, with its emergency kit to try and clean up the mess, no questions asked. That's bullshit. It's got to come to an end, so that would come to an end in a hurry. So those are my 3 big policy changes that I would make for New Zealand. And it's important to understand as well that child abuse is the #1 social problem of our time, and it's massive, it's everywhere. So that policy of not letting people have kids until they're fit to breed is the most powerful thing you can do to cut back on child abuse. Though yes, forced contraception may be a required mechanism in that game, so be it. It's a lesser of two evils than allowing a child to be born into pure hell where they're used as sex toys and punching bags. And in some cases, indefinite forced contraception, which means forced sterilization. Adolf Hitler! But no, there's a big difference between me and Adolf Hitler. Thank you. Adolf Hitler used the eugenics position from a madman. Obviously, he had a madman's relationship to it. I would use it in extreme cases and only when truly required. Big difference. What else would I do if I was the dictator of New Zealand? Shrink the size of the government, that's for sure. But really, the name of the game is to make life easy for the fertile population. Stop wasting resources on complete crap. Get behind positive fertility and suppress bad fertility. It's actually an incredibly natural position to take because every life form on the planet prioritizes good reproduction. It's the number one thing. When granny's in the way and they can't afford to take care of her, they just throw her off the edge of a cliff. I'm not that bad, that's not what I'm into, but that's nature, basically. Yeah, so that's what I would do if I was, amongst other things, if I was dictator of New Zealand. I'll piss a heck of a lot of people off, but give me 20, 30 years, you'll have a country which is just incredible to live in. You really would. Thank you.